morning. My name is Dan. It's nice to meet you. Good to see you again. If you're a guest here, it's great to have you. Great privilege for us to have you join our church family as we sing and learn and grow together. I get the privilege of serving as the pastor here at this church family, and also I get the thrill and privilege of telling you what the Bible teaches us, which we believe is God revealing himself to us through the person of Jesus and also the work of Jesus. So we'll dig in today in the Gospel of John. Before we get to that, last week you heard from Kate and I. Kate serves on our Kids Central CNY board, and we told you about a need that we have discerned here based on really the upheaval in the back-to-school schedule, the hybrid model, remote learning, and so on. So based on the urgent need and based on the expressed interest, and also based on your response, we have been able to open our preschool this season and also open a childcare, school-age childcare program this season. So we're gonna open our doors and our hearts to the neighborhoods and the kids and their families, and we're gonna collect whoever we can, and we're gonna give them socially distanced hugs. So we're so grateful for the opportunity. We have the resources. We've made a huge investment, and just in time, things fell into place for us to really make a wholehearted effort at connecting and caring for our neighborhood families. So would you be in prayer about that? Not only do we need you to pray, we would love for you to start referring us. Even in the days and era of social media and so on, the number one source of promotion and connection comes word of mouth. So if you have a mouth, then you can form some words. We'd love for you to advocate for us and get the word out that we want to take care of school-age kids and preschool kids, and we're grateful for that. So we're in our series together here called Who Does Jesus Think He Is? And if you are married or if you are in business, you probably didn't take someone's word for it when they referred you to this person who you married and went into business with, right? You did. I'm assuming that most of you didn't marry somebody and it was a blind date marriage. I'm assuming that you didn't get into business with somebody who came highly recommended, but you never met. Because we know, right, that trusting someone else's words about someone is not wise. It tends not to be accurate. By the way, anybody ever met someone and then as you're meeting them and getting to know them, you start thinking to yourself, I misjudged them. Someone told me about them. I heard about them. Now, I know none of you do things like that, but occasionally there are people who get ensnared in those ways, and then you discover I don't really recognize who someone told me they were. And the reason is because when we judge someone on someone else's words, it tends to be distorted, right? It's not really the real picture of who someone is. It also gets diluted. It doesn't help us always understand what version of this person they really are. So, if you wouldn't take someone else's word for it and then marry someone, if you wouldn't take someone else's word for it and then go into business with somebody, you probably would be not wise not to take someone else's word for it and then rest your eternal salvation in who someone said that this person was, right? There would be a lack of wisdom and accuracy in doing that. Trusting someone else's words about someone will always be risky, even more so in the way in which we rest our heart's joy and trust in someone else. Jesus didn't expect that you would rest your trust in someone else's words about himself. Jesus didn't expect you to hear someone else describing Jesus and then you say, yeah, I think I'm making my decision about Jesus based on their words. Because if you were to listen to other people describe Jesus, you'd hear versions of Jesus that weren't quite accurate, that are distorted or diluted. I mean, if you listen to historians, you would hear them describe to you that Jesus is an important figure, but he's only an important figure in history. If you listen to academics, they would say Jesus is for sure real, and he is truly existed. The historians tell us that, and academics or secular humanists would say, but he's primarily a wise teacher. What he teaches is helpful and can help you morally or religiously. If you read or listened to the Muslims or the Quran, you would discover that Jesus is regarded as a very important prophet alongside Muhammad. But that's all he is. He's just another prophet. Social justice workers would say Jesus was a social justice warrior, always advocating politically for the upheaval of oppression and fighting against the oppression of those who are in power. If you listen to the atheists, you would hear them describe Jesus as primarily a myth for people like you, mostly, who are weak. And you need a crutch, or you need some fable or fantasy to believe in order to really make it through life. And if you listen to the agnostics, they would say that Jesus he's a typical religious leader who may or may not be divine. He may or may not be God. He may or may not be who he said he is, but we just don't know. If you listen to American gospel preachers, they would say Jesus is the key figure, the key character, the essential piece of God's plan and desire to prosper your life. And that's who he is. That's how you understand Jesus. If you have faith in Jesus, God gives you health and wealth. So, here's what I want you to see today. We're going to learn together another picture of who Jesus is. That if you rest your hope and if you believe Jesus to be one of those people that I just described, if that's your version of Jesus, you're probably not experiencing life change. And if you're not experiencing life change, it's helpful for us to discover that I'm not experiencing life change because it's quite possible I don't really know the real Jesus. For sure, I don't know the Jesus who he thinks he is. If you only know one of those Jesuses that's described by somebody else, then he won't. That version of Jesus can't change your life. He certainly can't lead you to the Father in heaven. The best way for us to know our rescuing Savior is to listen to how he describes himself. Jesus uses I am statements. And we talked about that last week, how I am is a loaded phrase. You can't miss that. Jesus isn't using I am the way you and I might use I am. But he's using I am statements, and it reveals something significant about him. It is true, right, that if you and I use I am statements and we say, I am a father, I am a husband, I am a wife, I am a teacher, I am a child, I'm an employer, I'm a business owner, I'm a coach, etc., it reveals something significant about who you are and what you do. It tells people something very valuable about the kind of person you are and the things that you do. You're making a big, bold statement about your identity when you say, I am, and then there's something that follows that. When you say, I am a Cowboys fan, you're saying, I'm a future Super Bowl champion. That's what you're saying. It's significant. It's important to listen. How does Jesus describe himself? Look at this. Who does Jesus think he is? Who does Jesus believe himself to be? Who does he explain